Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to find out whether this ship that we came across in our last episode is a ship that we recognise. Is it belonging to a race that we've already met and that we know, or is it a completely new race? And are they friendly? So yeah, welcome back to the, this is the proper episode 1 of our Star Trek Ironsworn Starforged kind of mashup. I've decided to make another couple of changes. I am going to use some Star Trek lore. So whether if this turns out to be a ship that we know, or from a race that we know, I'm going to choose a Star Trek race, a race that actually does belong in Star Trek. I am going to create some of my own as well. But bear with me, I don't know a lot about Star Trek. I'm going to get things wrong. We're going to come across things like the Borg and the Andorians, and they're going to act out of character. And I know all you Star Trek fans are going to say, an Andorian would never do that. Okay, fine, they wouldn't, but I don't know. We're kind of resetting the Star Trek universe. This is our own universe. So first thing I want to do though is we are not yet going to find out whether this ship is friendly and whether it belongs to someone we already know. What we're going to do first is create a little bit of a sector, a map. Now I'm kind of basing this on the map that you get for Ironsworn Starforged, but instead of hexagons I'm using squares, and that is because I wanted to sort of number it a little bit better and have it more uniform. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these dice to tell us where things are on the map. So first of all, we're going to find out where we are, which will tell us where this particular ship is as well. So let's roll this one. So we get a 4 and a 20. So it's 4 down here and then 20 across here. So we're right on the edge. We're right on the edge. So the color one is us, and the black and white one is the other ship. So I'm going to kind of try to use us as being color, and anything else is kind of black and white or a more dull kind of color. But we'll see how that goes and how consistent I am with that. So this is where we are on the map. And what I want to do as well now is just create a few other things in the area. Now I am going to use the, no, which one am I using? I haven't got it loaded. I'm sure I did, but somewhere along the line it's closed down. I want the Starforged reference book, and we are going to go down to Space Encounters, because yeah, I want to create, I just want to make sure that you can see what I can see. We're going to create a little bit of a world, a little bit of a galaxy or a sector. So I'm going to go for, this is a D100 we need here. So let's grab our D100. Okay, that's not the roll, that's just me choosing this particular dice. Now I'm going to say that we are in Terminus. When you play Ironsworn Starforged, there's kind of 3 different areas of the galaxy that you can have your adventures in. You've got Terminus, Outlands and Expanse. And I can't remember which way around they are. I think Terminus is more sort of confined, there's a lot more going on. Outlands is kind of, it's the middle ground basically, and Expanse is like there's not a lot going on out here. You know, there's not much. It really is kind of the outer edge of your galaxy. So let's roll and see what we get first. We roll a 32, and 32 in Terminus is a planet. So we will stick a planet on our map and we will find out whereabouts that is. So we want this one, and we're going to roll that, and we get a 1 and a 2. So it's here, we've got a planet here. So what I'm going to do for this is I will probably tidy this up a little bit more when we'll have it as blue, shall we? Yeah, we'll have it as blue. Planets are going to be blue. I'll tidy it up a little bit off camera. I won't sort of bore you with it as we're playing. Let's see what else we get. Now, I've got to be honest. I'm not sure whether I've saved it here. I did have my own version of, yes, I did, and you've seen it before. So hang on. Let me just get that. I had my own version of the Space Encounters because I wanted something a little bit a little bit better for the kind of adventure that I want to play. So now I haven't got it on camera right now, but I'll sort of stick it on there. You won't notice the difference because I'll stick it on there separately. But let's roll then on this table that I've got, because this is the one I really want to be working by, to be honest with you. So where's my dice app? Let's grab the dice app, and we need still need a D100. Remember, that's not the roll. This is the roll, and we get a 44, and 44 on this is a starship. So there's another starship somewhere around, and it is in 82. 82. 8 and 2. So for 8 and 2, there's a starship here. So can I just clone this? 8 and 2. Yeah, so we'll put that there. Now maybe I shouldn't generate the whole map until we kind of get to these points, but I don't really want to use travel as a main mechanic in this particular game, in this particular series. So yeah, we'll carry on with building the world anyway. Right, okay, go back to our D100. Let's get something else on here. 36 is another starship. Okay, yeah, we'll stick it in. If the next one's another starship though, I'm going to scrap that. Oh, we don't know where it is yet, do we? Let's roll that and find out whereabouts that is. That is in. Is that rolled on the 10 or the 17? That's not easy to see. I'm going to call that the 10. So it's 10, 10, 10, 10, and we've got another starship in 10, 10. Right? Yeah, I want to build some planets and stars and things. Okay, we'll have another roll. Wrong one. D100, and we get a 52 and 52. Right, scrap that. I don't want another starship. I might have to adjust this chart, this table. Okay, we get an 80, and 80 is a large rogue asteroid. Okay, well I don't have an icon for that yet, but I will implement one. In fact, I could probably just go and grab one. So, a rogue, that'll do. I quite like that. Yeah, that's a bit big though. We'll make that a little bit smaller. A large rogue asteroid. And let's stick it in. See again, is that the 3 or the 19? You can probably see it easier on your screen actually. I think it's the 3. 3 or 3 then. Okay, 3 is where the asteroid is. It's quite close to that planet. Maybe we could do something with that on a later adventure. Okay, yeah, I'd like to start rolling some more planets. I didn't want to spend this long on the map, but we haven't sort of, that's the wrong one. We haven't sort of rolled much yet, apart from a few starships. Let's get a 75. 75, a debris field. I'm not keen on these so far. I think I may have made a massive error of judgment. Asteroid field, I don't even know if I've got an icon for that. An asteroid field. Okay, that's kind of a galaxy, but let's just use that as our asteroid field. And let's find out where it goes. That goes in 15.5. 15.5 goes there. Right. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. I would have liked to have rolled up a few more things, a few more planets maybe, and maybe a star, but okay, it is what it is. This isn't the end of the map. We will still explore things. But, matter at hand, is this ship, or does it belong to someone we've already met? Does it belong to a race that we already know? So I'm going to go back to my... which one is it? Not character details, not that one either. It's this one, because I want to use the Star Trek probability. So I need a D20, and as you can see here, I've put down the probability as probably. So it's probably something we already know. The reason I've done probably is because I don't want it to be guaranteed that it is, but if it is, then I'll roll up on the mission and we will say that this particular race. If it's an enemy, then the Federation's given us, well, maybe either way, the Federation's given us a mission. Let's roll and let's find out what we're going to get. So I roll a 5, which means yes, we do already know them. So 5, yes, we know them. Now, are they friendly? Are they friendly? I don't want to use the yes no probability matrix often in this series, but sometimes there are going to be times like this where I want to be surprised. I don't want to know if they're friendly or not. I'm gonna let fate tell me whether they are friends of ours or not. Are they friendly? I'm gonna say 50-50 on this one. So probability, say 50-50, because I really want the Oracle to decide this one from scratch. So a 1 and 10 is yes, they are friendly. And we get a 9, yes. So now, again, I've told you all before, I am not a big Star Trek fan. I don't know all of the races that are friendly with the Federation. The only one I kind of know really is the Vulcan. I think the Andorians are friendly at a certain point. I have watched all of Enterprise. But again, I don't know whether later on that relationship fell apart. I don't know if in the Next Generation era, the Andorians are still friendly. For that matter, I don't even know if the Vulcans are still friendly, really. Even as far as the Klingons, I know they're the main enemy in Star Trek, and the Borg, kind of the main enemies in Star Trek, but I don't know whether there was a period of time where they were actually friendly. So, because I think the Vulcan, we do know that they are friendly, or I know that they are friendly, I'm going to say that we've met the Vulcan. We have met a Vulcan ship. And for this reason, then, I am going to go and generate a proper mission. And I think the mission started on 357, or is that too many pages? Was it 257 there? 257. Look at that. Mission type then. Again, I just want to make sure that you can see what I can see. Mission type, let's roll a d20. And we get a 17. So this is Starfleet JAG. I don't even know what that means or stands for. So let's just go down to Starfleet JAG. JAG. What's that mean? I'm sure you're all rushing to the comments now to tell me. Starfleet JAG. Advise Starfleet on enemy species. Advise Starfleet on territory boundaries. Argue case on behalf of former admiral. See, some of these missions I don't get. I don't get how this is a mission. I'm going to forget that one. We're going to re-roll. Yeah. Maybe the more I play, the more I kind of get used to it. Yeah, maybe I can start to understand some of these missions a bit more. 12. Planetary exploration. That doesn't go with just coming across a ship. So forget that one. 1. Aid and relief. Right, that'll make a little bit more sense. This ship needs some aid. I think that kind of works out well. So we come across a Vulcan ship. Mission type 1. Aid and relief. Okay, so then roll. So what do we roll for on aid and relief? The aid and relief table, we get a 3. Ferry food to famine-stricken world. Okay, this ship is transporting food to the planet that we came across, and they are, maybe they're another race, or maybe there's a Vulcan colony there, and for some reason, whatever, maybe we'll find out. Maybe I'll think of something. For some reason, they are, really low on food. Maybe it's been war torn. Maybe a natural disaster. I like that. A natural disaster has occurred, and we we need to... There's a problem with their ship. We now need to take that that food, ferry food to famine-stricken world. Okay, we've got a mission. Roll 3. Ferry food to famine-stricken world. Okay, so I'm not going to go into great detail with the story. There may be elements of the story that I'll go into a little bit more detail. But what we're going to do here then is we are going to kind of start our rolling dice in terms of using some moves from Ironsworn Starforged. So I just want to make sure that just remember kind of what we've got. So right, we've come across this Vulcan ship. It's in trouble. They're not. It's not life or death, but they need to make some repairs before they can get this food to this planet. We've just come across them that maybe they had a distress signal or they hailed us, and they've told us the situation. Can you get this food to our colony? You know, there's been a natural disaster. They don't have food. You know, we desperately need to get them these supplies. Okay, what we are going to do, if I get to the Ironsworn, and I want to go to moves, we are going to undertake an expedition. Why aren't these links working? I thought everything was linked. I might need to use the play kit as opposed to... No, it's not the play kit either, is it? I thought it was the reference guide. Right, okay, I can't seem to use the links through Obsidian. I'm sure I did it before. But yeah, what we're going to do, we don't... well, no, we do know where this planet is. They've told us where this planet is. They've given us coordinates. So we're going to... I forget the name of the move. We're going to set a course, which is an exploration move. Page 14 of the reference guide. So we're going to set a course. So when you follow a known route through perilous space, across hazardous terrain, or within a mysterious site, we roll plus supply. So our supply, this is where we use the ship's... well, actually, it's supply. It's our supply. Just want to make sure you can see that. It's the supply on our Ironsworn sheet. So we will be rolling +5 for this move. So we won't be rolling one of our... Actually, I suppose we could use 2 of these. We could use... So it would be, I guess, engines and con. Engines and con. I'm going to go with that. We're going to roll engines and con. So we're going to roll +2 on our move here. So we are going to set a course for the planet. I'll name it all off camera or later, whatever. Set a course for the planet in need of the supplies. So this makes it a little bit more difficult, this roll, actually, because I would have been rolling +5 and now I'm only rolling +2. So let's roll then. We are going to roll a move. Remember, this isn't the roll. This is just me getting to this particular set of dice. So we're going to be taking this dice and adding 2, and then we need to get above, preferably above both of the numbers that appear here, but above one of them will be kind of good enough. So we roll a 2, add 2, 4, versus a 9, versus double 9. Now in Starforge, that means a miss and a match, which is usually something very, very, very bad happens. I will see there whether I want this level of danger straight away. But we've got a miss, so we rolled a 2, roll 2 plus 2, and I'm just going to say that was engines and con, wasn't it? Engines, con, engines and con. And that was right, wasn't it? Our engines is 1 and our con is 1, so yeah, 2. And I'll just say engines 1, con 1. So roll a 2 plus 2 versus a 9 and a 9. So that is a miss with a match. But whether I'm actually going to implement the match bit, probably not. Let's have a look. So what we will need to do here is pay the price. So pay the price on our Ironsworn. Yeah, on a miss, you are waylaid by a significant threat and must pay the price. If you overcome the obstacle, you may push on safely with your destination. So pay the price, and again, I don't know why I can't click the links here. Pay the price, I think. Okay, pay the price then. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. That's good. Right, let's pay the price, another D100, and we'll roll up on one of these. Again, if it just doesn't work for the adventure, or if I can't kind of think of a way of interpreting the result, we'll roll again, or I'll think of something. We could just have ourselves lose some supply, or lose spirit, or our ship gets damaged in some way. But I kind of like the idea of seeing if something crops up that one might make something quite fun. So let's roll our D100, and we get a 100. Roll twice, brilliant. So that's 2 pay the prices. Okay, pay the price was, hang on, pay the price was 100. Pay the price 100, and then roll again, and this is the first. And what did I roll there? A 58. 58, your equipment or vehicle malfunctions. Okay, we can work with that. 58, vehicle or equipment malfunctions. All right. And then roll again second. So we've got 2 pay the prices here. So that first one isn't necessarily something drastic. You know, we're rolling twice here, so let's see what else we get. 77, you are harmed. Okay. 77, you are harmed. Right, all I can think here is on our way, we came across the, let me get the sector back up. We came across this asteroid field. Okay, so we're kind of here now, and maybe we didn't get hit by the asteroid, by any of the asteroids, but there was some kind of energy that forced the ship to malfunction in some ways. So now I'm going to kind of go have a little bit of a scene where there's we need to carry out a repair. That's kind of immediately what's come to my head. What I do like about these kind of games is that they quite often will say, just role play what the most obvious outcome is. You don't always have to roll the dice to find out what's happened. If a move tells you to do this, or in this case, vehicle or equipment malfunctions, you know, the first thing that came to my mind was, right, something's malfunctioned, so I've got to have a scene now, or a few scenes where, you know, we need to go to engineering and make a repair, okay? So you might roll something, or a move says, you know, again, you are harmed. The first thing that came to my mind was maybe there was an electrical charge on the bridge. I've got some kind of electric shock, nothing life-threatening, but what we will do is go to our character sheet, go over to our health, and I will take that down from 5 to 4. Okay, so yeah, we have been harmed. You are harmed. Electrical shortage. Short out? Is it short out? Electrical, I can't spell at all. Well, I spelled short out, but is that not? Okay, electrical short out caused me to receive a shock. -1 health. Okay, so vehicle malfunctions. I don't really have a table in mind to roll on what's actually happened. I think it just makes sense that it's something to do with the engines. So what we do now is I contact engineering, and I guess this would be from our crew. Where did I write down the name of my crew? I'm sure I wrote it down somewhere. I'm not prepared at all here, am I? I know I made some changes somewhere along the line to character sheets and stuff, just sort of a few cosmetic changes, but yeah, let me go and find out where I had all my names of all my crew members. Okay, I'm going to need to sort of redo that somewhere here for you to see, but I do have a sheet open from a previous version of this game, so I can see what all my crew are called, and my chief engineer is Commander Alex Kelly. So it's Alex Kelly that I contact from engineering, and I say, you know, what seems to be the issue? I don't know, there's some kind of electrical shortage, you know, we've got an issue with the engines, you know, we need to make some repairs. Okay, so I head down to engineering or whatever. I'm just doing a little bit of role playing here. I head down to engineering, you know, speak to a commander, Alex Kelly. You know, we need this up and running as soon as we can. We need to get this this food to this planet. I'm working on it. I'm working on it, Captain. You know, we'll get there. I just need a bit of time. So I think what I'm going to do is we will just, for the moment, for the time being, we'll just make a roll. So our chief engineer and his team, or her team, sorry, it's Alex, A-L-I-X, Alex Kelly, her team are carrying out repairs. So I guess this is going to be, I mean, does it make sense to roll on engines again? Or, I mean, I guess it would be, because they are working on the engines, but it doesn't appear to be a kind of, there isn't a role for, or should I just roll on my stats? Because I think I've got more, the captain stats has a more personal stats, you know, like control, daring, fitness. So yeah, okay, so we're doing it under control, because I think you'd be very controlled, very organized, trying to fix your engines. Control and engineering would make sense, so we're going to roll under that. I may also be able to use my, what does my crew commander, can you see that? You have 2 commands, your max is 4. When you or an ally make a move leading or aided by the crew, which this is, you may, after rolling, suffer 1 command to improve a miss to a weak hit. I might decide to use that, but for the time being, we are going to repair engines, roll, control. Let me just get that so you can sort of see that again. Roll, control, roll plus control, 1, and no, my control's 2, and engineering, which is 1 equals 3, and then we roll. What do we roll? Let's have a look. So we're going to add 3 to this roll. Before I do this, let's figure out what move we're actually doing this on. I haven't even thought about that. So we're going to go back to our Ironsworn rulebook, and we are going to find the move, the best move that you would use for sort of carrying out a repair, which I think there is a repair. There is repair. It's a recover move. Repair. Page 21. I know if I do this, it's not going to actually go to 20. Oh, it does go straight to 21. That's handy. So you can see that, can't you? So when you make repairs to your vehicles, modules, mechanical companions, or other devices, well, okay, I guess it's a module of the ship, isn't it? The engines. Envision the situation and roll. If you make your own repairs or direct a companion to make repairs, roll plus wits. We're going to ignore that. We're rolling it against control and engineering. On a hit. Now, this is one thing I don't like about Starforged, is you gain repair points. I don't like that. I don't like the way that kind of works, but I think we'll still go with it, and we'll just kind of see what happens. So I'm going to roll +3. Yeah, and let's just see what happens. So we're going to roll +3. So we roll a 6 + 3 is a 9. I'll tell you what though, that's only a weak hit because we've got a 1 and a 9. So we roll 6 plus the 3 is the 9. Roll 6 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9 versus 9 and a 1, 1 and 9 weak hit. So on a weak hit, right, on a weak hit, at a facility in the field under fire, we're in the field, so we get 1 point. So this is really what I don't understand. We get 1 repair point, which means we can take +1 integrity on a vehicle is a point. Take 1 health for a mechanical companion is a point. Repair any other device. See, literally all you can do with 1 point is take health or integrity. Now, our ship's integrity is already max. Maybe it shouldn't have been though. Maybe instead of harming me, that should have harmed the ship. I think that makes sense. We're retconning that. -1 integrity because the ship received electrical shock. Ship received electric. I cannot spell electric today. Electric shock. -1 integrity. So what we'll do is back on our sheet. I know I'm retconning that a little bit. Sometimes in solo role playing, you could do that because it's your game. We would put our HMS Trafalgar down to 4, but with that 1 repair point, we can now put that back to 5, and engines are repaired. +1 integrity. Engines repaired. Now, what I might have done if I was a little bit further in the adventure and a little bit more comfortable with what I was doing was add a clock to this task. And what that does is every time you get a miss, you fill in 1 segment of the clock. When the clock runs out, you basically lost. And what I would have done, what that would have meant was we wouldn't have repaired our engines in time to get to the planet. But I didn't do any of that, so ignore it. I'm just letting you know, maybe if I was a little bit more comfortable with kind of what was going on, yeah, it might have made a little bit more sense. So we continue to our journey, which was what the move said that we can do. We continue to our destination. Continue to destination. Right. So detonation. We don't want to continue to detonation. Continue to destination. I really cannot spell. I am Russian, to be fair. Continue to destination. Okay, can you still read that? You can see all that. Okay, so we've reached that planet. If we just go back to our little map, then we have reached this planet. And I don't just immediately want everything to suddenly go, well, we've reached the planet, end the mission. No, that's not what this is about. So what I want to do is, what I should have done as well, actually, from an Ironsworn Starforge point of view, I should have created a vow for this. We wouldn't call it a vow in this game though, it'd just be the mission. And let's kind of retrospectively do that now. So if we go to our, I'm sure I had an area on the character sheet for this. So yeah, so we take food, or we'll call it food, but it's supplies. Take food to, I'm just going to say planet for the moment. Planety? Come on, what's the matter with me tonight? Why will it not let me delete that? Why can I not delete that? Take food to planet. Okay. And we'll make it troublesome. I don't want my first task to be like difficult. Why can't I draw in that? Oh, I sort of did, but it didn't come out well. Let's choose a better pen. There we go. Okay, it's troublesome. So because we've reached the planet, I'm going to mark 3 boxes on that. So I think it's 3 for troublesome. Mark 3, 1. Oh, that's 1 tick. There we go. And then I will copy all of that. Second box, third box. Okay. Because we've reached the planet. Obviously, we haven't completed the mission yet, though. So, when we get to the planet, we need to find where this colony is. Maybe there's more than one colony. Maybe there's more than one, country or landmass on this planet. So, what I'm going to do actually as well is we will just go to the Ironsworn Starforged book again. And what I want to do here is just go to planets. So number 38, page 38. What kind of world is this? Let's roll the dice. Let's roll a D100. And we get a 37. So 37 is going to be a grave world. So let's just go to grave world. Here we go, grave world. Can you see all that? You can. And then a little bit of rolling here. So let's just, I'll just put a couple of notes here. So the planet is a grave world. I just find Ironsworn, I know I want this to be very Star Trek themed, but I just find that with some elements of the game, Starforge just does a little bit of the world building a little bit better when it comes to things like this. But again, maybe we can throw in some, Star Trek Captain's Log themes in there later on as well. So it's a grave world, and then we are going to roll on a few other things as well. So now settlements, let's find out. Oh, and actually we already know that it's a planet side settlement, so it's on the planet. Or is it? Well, yeah, because it's been a natural disaster, so it makes sense that it's on it's planet side. I was going to roll up how many settlements, but I don't think that really matters. So let's just go straight to atmosphere. And let's use the roll that we just got. So we rolled a 68, and that is corrosive. So the atmosphere is corrosive. Let's just go settlement. It's not right, is it? Settlement. Planet side. Atmosphere is corrosive. Okay, now life, apart from the colony, is there any other life on this planet? We roll up a 68. Is that the second 68 in a row, or was the last one 67? Roll up a 68. So there was life on this planet. It's extinct. Life extinct. So all there is now is just this the settlements that are probably under some kind of dome, because the atmosphere is corrosive, so they're kind of indoor settlements, which might make sense actually, that maybe they've always relied on supplies, shipments, because they can't well, there's certainly no life there's no ecosystem there to grow their own food, but I guess inside they would have their own greenhouses or whatever. But yeah, we'll stick with the story that there's been a natural disaster, life is extinct. So observed from space, let's roll up a couple of these. 42 irradiated atmosphere observed from space, and then just one more as well. We rolled 53 orbiting ship graveyard. That's interesting. So orbiting this planet is a ship graveyard. Now, I might be able to use that later for another little mission or something, or it might just be a place of interest. Planet side feature. Let's roll two of these as well. We get 70 ravaged cities. Planet side feature, ravaged cities. Maybe back in the old days when there was an atmosphere there, because the life here is extinct, maybe there was actually a civilization. Maybe there was a sentient being that had cities. They've all been ravaged. They've all been, they're all in ruins now. And we also roll up a 4 acid pools. Acid pools. Okay. So we get to this planet, and we need to scan for settlements. I mean, we could just say there's one settlement on this planet, but no, I think we need to find out which settlement needs the aid. So first of all, we need to make some kind of communication. We need to open communications with someone on this planet. So first thing we do is get into orbit. Now, because I don't want this to be an easy mission, I'm going to roll a task for us to get into orbit. I could just say it's a minor thing. Ships like ours go into orbit all the time, but I want an element of danger. You know, what if something doesn't quite go right? So to get into orbit, then we're going to roll on another move, and this particular move I'm going to do secure advantage, because secure advantage and face danger kind of work together, but we're not facing danger by getting into orbit. We're getting into orbit. We want to secure an advantage to, you know, make communications with, make contact with this planet, find out which settlement it is that needs the aid. So we're going to use the secure an advantage move, which is page 10. So secure an advantage to place ship into orbit and make contact with planet side. Okay, so secure an advantage. Now, what should we roll? So secure advantage, when you assess a situation, make preparations or attempt to gain leverage. So we can act with speed, mobility or agility plus edge, or there's another one for heart, iron, shadow, wits. We're obviously using our own stats here. So what should I use for this move then? So we are, I guess, I mean, I was control again, really. We're controlling the ship to get it into, I mean, we might even be able to use the ship. We might even be able to use the ship stats for this. Might make more sense. How about, is it comms or is it more engines again? Engines and command, +1. Or her, okay, all right. Secure an advantage. Roll plus engines, which is 1. And, or is it con? It's con, really. Engines 1 and con 1. Con is like the piloting, isn't it? I'm sure it is. Someone let me know in the comments below if I'm right or wrong. So roll, and we are going to roll here. We roll a 1 plus 2. Roll, so we rolled a 1 plus 2 is 3. That's a weak hit, only just. So we roll a 1 plus 2 equals 3 versus 2 and 8. 2, 8 weak hit. So something is probably going to go wrong here. So for secure advantage, on a hit you succeed. Oh, okay, that's not too bad actually. On a hit you succeed. On a strong hit, take both. On a weak hit, choose 1 on a weak hit. So we can take 2 momentum, or on our next move, as long as it's not a progress move, we can add +1. I quite like to build momentum, because later on we can use that to literally use it as our dice roll. So if we can get up to like 9 or 10 momentum, we can almost guarantee, you know, a hit if we need to use it. So I'm going to take +2 momentum, weak hit, +2 momentum. It can take a while to build, and there are situations where you might lose momentum, but I think it's good to kind of build that as and when you can. So we are now on 4, which isn't bad. If ever we're in a situation where we roll, we get a 1 or we roll a 2 against 2 3s, we can turn that 2 into a 4. You know, that's kind of a little bit extreme. You want your momentum to be up here really before you even start thinking about burning it. So +2 momentum. So we get the ship into orbit. We get the ship into orbit, and now we're going to open up communications with. We're going to hail whoever. I don't know. I mean, would there be a planet side? Would there be an official channel that you open up with an entire planet, or would it be a case of? I suppose it would actually. But I was thinking, if it's a planet like Earth and there's lots of different countries and different nations and different factions, would you have to open up with all of them, or pick one to open up with? Or, you know, like I say, would there be a kind of main point? I suppose there would. I suppose there'd be a main point. So we're going to open comms with planet side. So I guess they would recognize our ship. They would know that we're Federation, but maybe they'd still be quite weary because I don't know. Would they be weary, or would they like literally like, oh, it's a Federation ship, great? All I was thinking there was, how do they know that it's not a stolen ship? And the only reason I was thinking like that is that we've had a pretty good run so far with this mission. You know, we're already nearly kind of there. So I guess I should probably actually, before we go any further, I should probably get another 3 boxes here because we successfully, that hasn't taken all of them, has it? Copy that, paste that, stick that there. I want to get rid of that one though. Why didn't that work? Okay, so 3 boxes. So we've got, I'd like to get another 3 really before we start rolling for the progress, rolling to complete this. Open comms with planet side. So what move would we use for this then? I mean, I'm thinking it would probably be another secure an advantage. Or would it be... I'm thinking... I'm not thinking compel, but I'm thinking some kind of discussion role. But I guess it probably would be another secure an advantage. Yeah, I think it would be. I just think I don't want to use the same move every time, but I just think it would be. So we're going to secure an advantage again. Secure an advantage. And what are we rolling on this time? I think it's going to be me. I think this is going to be presence 2. It was either going to be presence or control, and the only reason I'm decided on presence this time, it doesn't matter mechanically because they're both 2. Presence is kind of like, you know, I'm the captain. It's my presence. You know, you can trust us. We've been told to, you know, your ship has had run into trouble. So presence 2 and command. Which is a +4, doesn't guarantee a win. So roll plus presence 2 and did I say command? Yeah. Command 2. So we're going to roll. What do we roll? 4 +4, 8. That's only a weak hit though. It's only a weak hit. Could have been a strong hit, but it was very nearly a miss. If that 7 had been an 8, that would have been a miss. So I rolled a 4 plus the 4. Roll 4 plus 4 equals 8 versus 7 and 8. Weak hit. So on a weak hit, Ah, right, okay, so we can take +2 momentum or add +1. So, okay, so I open up communications, you know, I've even forgotten the name of my captain. What's my name? This is Captain Todd Kennedy of the HMS Trafalgar from planet Earth. We came across one of your ships not long ago who were sent on an aid mission with supplies for one of your colonies that has suffered a natural disaster. They've had problems with their ship. It was lucky that we came along. We've got the supplies for you. Can you please direct us to the right place to get this aid? To get this aid to your people. So, weak hit. I'm going to take +2 momentum again. Let's build that momentum because later on, guarantee later on, I'm going to need it. We are going to start. At the moment, I've been quite lucky. I started playing a private game actually, where I kind of used this idea again, but I did it much more Ironsworn, Starforged than Star Trek. But I did use a few of the Star Trek tables and stuff. And you know what? It's the luckiest dice rolls I've ever had. I think just a little bit of luck at the moment. Okay, so weak hit, +2 momentum. Okay. So they direct us. We travel. I'm not going to roll a move for just traveling to that particular colony, or we don't even travel to that colony, do we? I guess we just we wait until the orbit of or we just maneuver the ship around to where that colony is, and we're going to beam down. So we're going to beam down to the ship, and yeah, I need to rethink some of these moves because what move would I have for beaming down? Because I mean, beaming down, you're using the transporter is very risky. I'm going to face danger as opposed to instead of rolling secure an advantage. This is a face danger. I think every time we use the transporter, we're going to face danger. Now it's a similar move to secure an advantage, but obviously this is kind of, we're doing something dangerous here. So face danger, use transporter to beam down to colony. Okay, face danger, roll plus. Right, what are we going to roll for this one? Using the transporter. I mean, again, there are no stats that I would. I mean, I think it would probably be another system stat, and I think we'd be looking at something like computers and science, which may seem odd, but what I'm thinking is computers well, you're using a transporter, you're using a very, very powerful and intelligent computer system to do this. And science, you're relying on the science of the technology to get you there. So we're going to do that. We're going to roll plus computers 1 and science 2. If anyone else has got an idea as to maybe what they would have rolled on, what stats they would have rolled on, maybe I could have rolled on some of the captain stats. But again, what, daring? Maybe daring and science, daring and... yeah, I don't know. But I'm going to go with computers and science. And we are going to roll, we roll a 2 plus 3. That's a miss. That is a miss. 2, roll 2 plus 3 versus 5 and a 10 versus 5 and a 10. So our momentum is currently 6. I could turn that into a weak hit. I'm not going to though. Let's save this for something a little bit more dangerous later on. But that is, I think that's our first miss of the series, is it? I'm not sure, maybe. So I'm not going to have it that we're using the transporter and we're all split into millions of atoms. That's ridiculous. But let's see what the move actually says if we get a miss. So on a miss, you fail or momentary success is undermined by a dire turn of events. Right, we've landed on the planet. But where? So let's pay the price. And let's see what I get for pay the price. Now, I can't remember for the life of me what pay the price was. What page that was on? Was it on something like 24 or something? pay the price. Nearly. So let's roll on our D100. 28. Your action causes collateral damage or has an unintended effect. That kind of fits with what I was thinking anyway. We've just landed somewhere completely different, completely wrong, completely. We haven't landed where we were meant to land. We were meant to land in the colony, and we've landed just outside, or maybe we've landed in the colony, but no. Do you know what? Better idea. We've landed at the wrong colony. And because of the little mishap there with the transporter, they don't want to use it anytime soon in case there's further complications. So pay the price. Let's just copy and paste that. I can't bother to type that all out. We have beamed down to the wrong colony. So what I am thinking here, can you see that? Maybe just about. Let me scroll. We've landed at the wrong colony. What I'm thinking here is we now need to undertake an expedition, or maybe it'd be set a course again, actually. Maybe it'd be set a course. We need to set a course. We're at this new colony and we need to explain to them, you know, what's happened. We've got supplies for this colony of yours that's going through this this disaster. Our transporter hasn't worked properly. We don't want to use it again in case there's further issues and, you know, we end up getting split into a million atoms. You need to help us. We need to transport this. If you've got some form of transport that we can use, and then we'll undertake some moves to get there. So yeah, bit of a cliffhanger there. We have landed in the wrong colony. In fact, we could even... Is it even a Vulcan colony? Or is it something more dangerous? We'll find out in the next episode. Hope you've enjoyed this one. Please give a like and subscribe if you have. I've actually really enjoyed this. It's taken me a while to get around to doing this episode. I was a little bit tentative as to shall I carry on. I wanted to, but the thought of actually sort of setting everything up and playing, I've actually really enjoyed this. So yeah, I hope you have too. Please give me any comments below on anything that you think I'm doing wrong or I could do differently, better. Do you want to join in on this? Give me some ideas. Let me know. Roll up a mission for my next one. I know this one's far from over, but, you know, let's start thinking of the future. I think I'm going to go somewhere with this one. Take care of yourselves, everybody. I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.